Hi, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about core ways that healthy people regulate. Number one is that they name their emotion. So, what that looks like is asking themselves, okay, what am I feeling? What emotion am I feeling? And naming it. So, I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling anxious. I'm feeling overwhelmed. Labeling an emotion decreases the activity in the amygdala, which means that's the fight or flight response. So it decreases and that sensation or that state of fight or flight. And it increases the prefrontal regulation. So it helps you regulate your nervous system. Basically, people who are really good at having a healthy way of regulating their emotions, they're good at, instead of feeling shame or guilty about feeling a certain emotion, they basically just name that emotion and they kind of dig deeper to understand that emotion. Number two is after they name the emotion, they accept the emotion. They don't try to push it away. They don't try to, if they are feeling sad and they want to cry, they allow themselves to cry, to feel that emotion. If they feel angry, they allow themselves to accept that they're feeling angry and let their emotion be there. So they will hold space for their emotion and they never suppress their emotion. And the reason for that is because when we suppress our emotion, it just gets pushed into our body, further down into our body. And then over time, we erupt like a volcano because over time, all the emotions keep piling up on top of each other. And then, one little thing could just trigger it. And, you just get all the emotions come to the surface all at once. They are really good about, feeling their emotions, accepting their emotions, and just being with their emotion and letting it, just being curious about it. What's going on? Where is it showing up in their body? And they refrain from having shame around their emotion. If this is resonating with you so far, I am a life coach for highly sensitive people. If you'd like to have a one-on-one coaching session with me, please click on the link in the description and book a complimentary session with me. I would love to work with you. Number three is cognitive reframing. What that means is they change the story that they're telling themselves, right? So for example, if they made a mistake, instead of saying, oh my God, I failed, what they do is they acknowledge it. Yes, I made a mistake, but it's not a failure. It's an opportunity to learn from this mistake. So I will know next time not to make the same mistake again. And so they see it as an opportunity to learn rather than having this negative self-talk, like I'm such a failure. Oh my God, how could I have made that mistake? I shouldn't have done that. They don't go into this spiral of negativity and negative self-talk. And this reframing is backed by evidence to be extremely helpful for regulating your nervous system. And a lot of times too, when you get into the habit of reframing, you are able to pause and say, is there another way that I could look at this? Is there another possibility for this situation? Because oftentimes we think we understand something. We think it's for sure 100% this is what caused this emotion. But then if you pause and reflect on it and ask yourself, is it possible that there could be another explanation to this? When you do that, you basically expand your mind, right? To think in another way. There's another possibility. And 9 out of 10 times, sure enough, what you thought for sure is the situation, when you reframe it, you can see it from another way. So then you can say, okay, maybe there are other possibilities for this situation, and that helps you just calm down automatically when you pause and reflect and think that there is another way of thinking about this situation. Number 4 is nervous system regulation. People who are really good at regulating their emotions, they understand that the emotion resides in the body. And so if they don't take the time to regulate their nervous system, that emotion is going to get stuck in their body. So what does this look like? This looks like deep breathing, maybe box breathing might be helpful for you. Grounding through your senses, like, what are the 5 things that I see around me, the 3 things that I smell, whatever. You go through the grounding exercise. And then maybe you can do some movement or exercise or be in the nature. That usually helps us with regulating our nervous system. And, just being able to understand that our emotions don't live just in our mind. They live in our body, and they can get trapped in our body if we don't take this time to process them and release them. Number 5 is healthy expression. People who are really good at regulating their emotions are very good at expressing themselves and expressing their needs. So talking to a trusted friend, or talking to a therapist who specializes in the area that you need help with. For example, if you're often feeling anxiety, maybe see a therapist who specializes with patients who have anxiety. Or if you're a highly sensitive person, maybe work with a coach like myself who can help you really understand your sensitivity and help you thrive in life as a highly sensitive person. And then number 6 is boundaries and emotional responsibility. So this is like they understand that, okay, what I'm feeling belongs to me. I'm not going to blame someone else for how I'm feeling. I'm not going to shift accountability. I'm going to own my emotion. These emotions belong to me. So I'm going to own my emotions. I'm going to, be responsible for them. And I'm also going to communicate my needs clearly so that people know what my boundaries are and what my needs are. What am I willing to accept and what am I not willing to accept in this relationship? Where are my boundaries? What are my boundaries? And then I want to clearly communicate my boundaries. And of course, it's not just about communication. It's also about making sure that your boundaries are respected. Because if you just set boundaries and you're loosey-goosey about them, then obviously they're not going to be very helpful to you. And then number 7 is having self-compassion. This is so important, especially for us highly sensitive people, because we often have self-compassion for everyone around us because of our level of empathy. However, we have a lot of self-criticism inside of us that comes from being a perfectionist, and that comes from wanting to be the best version of ourselves. And yes, this is something that we're born with. However, we definitely can lessen that over time. With practice, you can definitely lessen that self-critical voice inside of you and replace it with a compassionate voice. And you can just catch yourself. If you're criticizing yourself, there's no need to get sad about it or upset about it, or, just have compassion for yourself. It takes time to get from having that inner critic to having that inner compassion for yourself. So just be compassionate. And then you should, instead of saying I shouldn't feel this way, just say it's human to have these emotions. Emotions are part of being human, and it's okay that I'm having this emotion. And then, as we talked about it, name it. And then number 8 is preventative habits. People who are amazing at regulating their emotions, they're that way because they're doing this on a daily basis. They have a practice to stabilize their emotions, stabilize their nervous system on a daily basis. Just like they have a habit of self-care and like hygiene care, they have that habit of regulating their nervous system. How do they do that? They basically have a good sleeping habit. Like they go to bed at the same time, wake up at the same time. Their sleep is very regular, and they're having restful night's sleep. Sleep is extremely important, especially for highly sensitive people. If we don't get sleep, our nervous system is going to be really out of whack. So we need that. Sleep is number one for us as highly sensitive people. We need to make sure that we're getting a good night's sleep, and it's a very restful sleep. So you have your ritual about sleeping, however it is that works for you. I like my room to be dark. I like it to be quiet. I like it to be just the right temperature so that I'm not cold and I'm not hot. So these things I'm very, very conscientious about every single night, making sure that I have my room set up the way I like it. And then balanced diet and hydration is very important. As we talked about in the past videos, hydration is very important for highly sensitive people. Water is very calming to us, and water is very calming to the nervous system. So drinking a glass of water, especially when you feel like you're gonna, your emotions or your nervous system is gonna be out of whack, really helps with calming. And then regular exercise. Regular exercise really helps our nervous system remain balanced and remain in the rest and digest state instead of going into the fight or flight state. So exercise, being in nature, it doesn't have to be like very hardcore exercise. It's just being in nature, walking. Like, for example, for me, I don't do intense workouts right now because I'm not, I have a neurological disorder, so I need to be mindful of that, and I'm trying to heal from it. And so I'm very mindful of the exercises that I do. So yoga, walking, anything that is very soothing for my body and doesn't put it into any kind of stress mode. And then mindfulness or meditation also helps. I mean, numerous studies have been done on the importance and the benefits of meditation and mindfulness. So if you can get into a, meditation habit on a daily basis, that's great. If you can't, I highly recommend that you start doing somatic practices. And I'll cover that in the next few videos that I'm going to be working on as well. Somatic techniques are so crucial for highly sensitive people and regulating your nervous system, which in turn regulates your emotions. So these basic habits that I talked about under the preventative habits, they really lower your baseline stress, so that when emotions become a little bit challenging for you, it's like if you're having charged emotions, because you're kind of regulating yourself on a daily basis, these emotions will be easier to handle. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you would like to work with me on a one-on-one basis, please click on the link in the description and book a complimentary session with me. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe to my channel. See you in the next video.